There is a plethora of mental illnesses that seem to have risen in recent times, and you trace mental illness back to the Middle Ages, you'll discover that there were two trends of thought. One was that people were possessed, and the other was that people have mental deficiencies. And they did a scientific thing and discovered that in the blood there were certain chemicals missing or perhaps present, and they added a chemical and things improved, so that they moved from this voodoo thing straight into modern psychiatry. And I guess the former was predicated on biblical times, and when this evil man was in the cemetery in Bible times, and Jesus came and cast out the demons and he was okay. And so that people equated in during the Middle Ages mental illness with being evil. But I think over time, moving from the chemical dependency or the chemical deficiency and so forth, we've come to a position now where individuals have taken things in their hands. In other words, they're saying that, look, especially the psychologists and sociologists, we could solve all the problems in the country, man. Just give us, more opportunity, and let us raise our consultation fees and so on, and make it chargeable to Medicaid and all that, and everything's going to be okay. And then they go to court and give opinions and set people to jail or exonerate people, etc. But I think what is responsible for this plethora of new mental illnesses and so forth, it's coming back to the Middle Ages time. It's evil. Some people have mental problems because there is that chemical imbalance. But I think the majority of people are evil, are depressed and have a variety of mental illnesses because they're evil. And recently, in recent times, we find that with religion becoming irrelevant and thrown out of the lives of people, this thing has increased. And I think much of it has to do with being evil. And evil, we could subdivide it now. People are doing wrong things. They will steal your stuff, they will lie to you, they will write your ticket when you're not guilty and send you to jail for life and execute you even though you're innocent. And those things will cause mental problems. They'll be guilt-ridden, depressed, and the only way to get out of that is to go back and deal with the matter. You destroy somebody's life, you have to go and straighten that out. People are cursing, they're dressing funny. A kind of individualism is a part of the culture in which we don't go by norms and everybody behaving a certain way, everybody behaving different. In school, kids, everybody dressed differently and so forth. And these things will cause mental problems. And so if we really want to solve these mental problems, we need to look at it carefully and see who has the mental, the deficiency of, and be very fair and objective now, who has those chemicals or salts missing in their brain. And those who are evil, they need to get spiritual help. But then of course people go to these various programs when they're drug addicted with alcohol or illegal drugs, and they come with a kind of program there. They can't even talk about the real God. They have to talk about higher power and so forth. So unless we're going to come back to the place where religion is important, people go to church, people try to live according to the scriptures, according to God's dictates, we're going to see mental illness become so extraordinarily popular that it's going to be scary. And they're saying that 1 out of every 10 persons is depressed. I mean, I get depressing thoughts when I think of how the state has taken my child and trying to get me locked up, trying to get me on a murder charge, trying to put me in a mental institution. It does create an anxiety which, if I were to be parked in that zone in the doldrums, then it will grow and you become very, very immobilized and need medical and psychiatric help and so forth. But I just move on. I just put it in the Lord's hand and keep doing what I can do. If I can't do anything, I just give it to God and so forth. And if folks want to beat this thing, they have to start doing the right thing. Even though it's unpopular, even though you might lose your job, because if you're a cop and you don't lock up people and write bogus tickets and stuff like that, you might lose your job. But it's better because you're going to end up with mental problems, they don't put you on medications, you might end up killing yourself, killing others. So we need to discover the difference. And as I said on another video, what would happen is this: an individual might have a deficiency in the brain or in the body through whatever chemical or whatever imbalance, and then because they making poor choices, they might end up getting involved in voodoo and get completely off track and be destroyed. They'll commit suicide or kill somebody or do something that will eventually doom them for life. Or they could have been born in a family where the people are evil, they like evil stuff, and they practice evil, and as they grow up in that, then they will end up with a mental problem, because when you're doing evil things like being rude and cursing people, showing them the finger, driving crazy on the highway, hurting people, you will end up depressed and mental problems. But it starts because one is evil. So it could either be mentally unstable because of chemicals and end up getting evil, or it could be evil and end up getting mentally ill. So be careful and try to avoid evil. Sometimes I go home and I find my girlfriend watching some shows on television, and I tell her, I say, what's it about the show that you like? Oh, you're controlling or whatever. But this thing is something about evil. You can't see it's about evil. Oh, no, you're judging whatever. I mean, folks don't even understand what basically constitutes evil and what could lead you off track. Because you see, they started here in America with things like Sesame Street with Count Dracula. Wonderful learning experience, how to count and so on. And then you go into other shows, I think, like Wizard of Oz and Evil and Wicked and Macabre, this and that and so forth. And if you have a show that deals about honesty and doing the right things, you won't get anywhere with it. You have to show it. You have to make a video that has evil in it, killing, lying, scampishness, and it will become popular. In fact, one of James Bond movies I saw where a woman came through a wall. She just appeared like apparition. So watch it what you like. You might end up getting hurt.